So if you set this problem up to begin with, here's your picture. And to begin with, it says that it's going to fly 60 miles per hour heading southeast. Okay, so this is east and this is south. So if you're heading southeast, it's this measurement here. And it tells us that it's 60. So then you're going to create a new compass rose, right? So here's your new one. And it says it's coming from the west. This is the west and the other side's east. So if I'm right here, this is what threw kids off today. They went the other direction. But if you were right here, here's your boat, think about it. And I've got wind blowing from the west, it's gonna push this out, right? So to push it out, you take from the end point, right here, and blow from the west. If I blow from the west, I'm actually blowing which direction? East. So you're here, and this is 15. So now the new path of the blimp, it's a blimp actually, is this measurement right here. Right, you all know that we have to find the angle. So right now, try to see if you can guess what this angle is. What did y'all put right here for this angle? Think about, do what? Yeah, because it's 135, because this section is 90, and this section is 45. Do y'all see that? Look up here if you don't know how we got 135. The skinny section is 45, and the big section is 90. 90 plus 45 is 135. So I'm going to erase this so I have room and write in 135 because that's the angle. 135. Now your goal is to find this. Okay, for the next part, if you're struggling setting up the law of cosine problem, it's not a right angle, so you can't use Pythagorean theorem. Remember, the angle is 135. The side that matches it is the one across from it. Okay? So to set this up, I'm going to say that x, because you always start with x squared equals, the two sides we know, 60 squared plus 15 squared. And when you get ready to do this, what matches x? Remember, you start with the side, and you end with the angle that goes with it. The angle that goes with it is 135. So you're going to put a 135 there. Now on your calculator, you're just going to type this data in and take the square root. It should give you 71.40 miles per hour. So it actually sped the blimp up, the wind did. So change the x and put 71.4 there. Now we have to account for this. Okay, look at this angle right here, guys. The original blimp was in this line, and then it backed up a little. So you've got to find out how much. This is what I mean by that. If you take about it originally, I would have started at 0, added 90, and then added how much more?
45.
Right, 45 more. So I would have done 90 plus 45. But then what am I going to have to do? Because I've got to go back. I've got to go back some.
Subtract.
Right, so I'm going to subtract something. So you got to find the angle. Okay, find the angle. Now, like I said earlier, the angle, when you're using law of cosine, you find the two that match. Okay, the angle matches the wind. You always start with the wind. That's what's adjusted the line. So start with the wind, so 15 squared equals the other two, 60 squared plus 71.40 squared. And then cosine of y, because we don't know y. We don't know the angle. On your calculator, this is the one where you do 15 squared minus 60 squared minus 71 squared and hit enter. Then you're gonna divide by -2, divide by 16, divide by 71, hit enter. And then get your inverse cosine, which for that one is gonna be 8.54. Okay, and then to find the answer, remember we talked about it, you're gonna do 90 plus 45, and then you're 90 plus 45, and then you have to back up. So minus your 8.54. So your heading is that. Okay, on your own, I want you to go back and do 6, 9, and 12. 6, 9, and 12. We have 3 problems. 6, 9, and 12. I'm gonna help you out with a picture for number 6. All right, see if you drew it correctly. Now, it says that the submarine leaves the port and travels 56 miles per hour in the southeast direction. So if we're gonna travel southeast, okay, this is south and this is east. So here's your direction you're traveling right now. And it tells us that's 56. Then it says we're gonna take 35 miles an hour. There's a current flowing from the east. If I'm flowing from the east, which direction am I actually going? I'm actually traveling west. Now that confused kids earlier, okay? If this is your compass rose right here, look. You are at this point. If I'm going from the west, from the east, I'm traveling west, which would be this way. So you go from here to here. And this is 35. I'm now gonna move the 56 because it was inside of the triangle. Oh, I'm sorry. From the east. Didn't mean to confuse you. It says from the east, which is towards the west. So you're going from here, from the east, it backs you up. And the degree is 35. I'm sorry, the speed is 35. So now your boat or your submarine is on this route. What is this angle right here? The angle is 45. And you're gonna try to find X. Okay, remember, look at diagonal from X. What belongs with X? X and what go together? X and 45. You always start off with the side. So X squared equals 56 squared plus 35 squared. You can check your work here. And X ended up equaling 39.86. So this is 39. Your next step is to find the angle. When you use the law of cosine, you use the angle and the matching side. What side matches this angle? The angle and what go together, guys? The angle and 35. You always start with the side. So 35 squared. And then you use your other two numbers. In your calculator, again, you start with 35 squared minus 39 minus 56, hit enter. Divide, 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 hit enter. Right? And angle Y ends up being 38.38. That's not the answer, right? Our submarines, now watch if you're not sure of the answer. The answer was 173. If you didn't get that, then watch. I'm gonna travel 90, and how much more here? 45, and then the shaded region more. So 90 plus 45 plus my shaded region. In other words, my boat was here and it was shoved a little bit farther. So the answer was 173.38. Okay, now go and draw number 9, set up 9. Nine, you want to check it, see if you set it up correctly. First of all, I'll give you the answers. The speed was 25.53 miles per hour, and the heading was 213.83 degrees. So if you did it right, you can move on. Now, on this one, it says that he's first going to travel southwest. So this is southwest. And it's 30 miles, so there's your 30. Then it tells us we're gonna go from the west. So at this point right here, I've got a new compass rose. I'm right here. And I'm gonna blow from the west. I'm gonna try not to make a mistake this time. From the west, so from this point, you're gonna go this way. From here, move this way. 'Cause that's gonna shift your line. And this is 7. So now the path got moved over a little to the right. This angle, cut it in half so it's 45, and you're going to find x. Remember that you're looking for x. The angle that matches x is 45. See the diagonal across? That's 45. They go together. So x squared equals the two sides. Cosine of 45 is what should be there. Now, then x, when you do the math, don't forget to take the square root, 25.53. Now you want the highlighted section, which is this. Guys, it matches 7. It matches 7. You always start with the side. So 7 squared equals the 2 that you now have. And cosine of y. This is where you take 7 squared, minus 30 squared, minus 25 squared, hit enter. Divide by -2, divide by 30, divide by 25, hit enter. Take the inverse cosine, and angle y is 11.17. Now guys, if you got 11 and still missed it, watch, and I'll show you the reason why. I started here. I would travel 90. Then I'm at 180. Then I'm at another 45. So I'm at 180 plus another 45. But what's going to happen? The wind actually pushed me back. So minus the angle you found. So minus your 11. Your 11.17. So the answer was 213. Okay, so now read number 12 and solve number 12. It's your last problem. All right, you've got a seagull flying east. So you're actually going to fly east with your seagull. All right, if I'm going to fly east, then my seagull is this direction right here. So I'll make that line a little thicker. And we're going to call it 56. Now, I'm sorry, 16. Now that it encounters a wind blowing from the northwest at 56. So here's your new picture. And if I'm going to go from the northwest, now look at this for a second. This is north and this side's west. So I'm going from this dot right here. This is northwest. I'm not going towards the northwest, I'm going from it. So I'm kind of blowing this way. So put your finger on the end of the seagull, which will be here. And if you're going north from the northwest, you're actually going to go this direction, which is kind of strange. And the wind is blowing 56 miles an hour, really fast. Which puts the seagull on a different course of here. Okay, we always have to find this angle here. Well, this part is 90 and this part is 45. Okay, so together this makes 135. So that's 135. Okay, and I'm looking for x, the side across from it. So for my law of cosine, always starts with the side. X squared equals 16 squared plus 56 squared minus 2 times 16 times 56 times cosine of your 135. Type this in the calculator, the whole thing, and take the square root. So x, once you take the square root, x is 68.26 miles per hour. So now you have a value of the seagull speed, 68.26. Now, your seagull, guys, was traveling nice and pretty, 90 degrees. He was headed east, 90 degrees. But this wind kicked him out, it kicked him down. So he's not gonna meet 90 anymore, he's gonna meet 90 plus whatever the shaded angle is. So let's find the angle. Some of you are still having trouble setting it up. The angle that matches across the side, there you go. The angle matches the wind. It's always gonna match the wind. So then you've got 56 squared equals, okay, the other two sides are 16 squared plus your 68.26 squared. And cosine of your shaded angle. If you're having trouble getting this answer on your calculator, I'll walk you through it again, okay? If you got it right, guys, y is 34, right? If you didn't, then look up here and I'll walk you through it one more time. Okay, we're gonna start with the 56. So 56 squared, and we're gonna subtract the 16 squared and subtract the 68.26 squared. Don't forget to square those, then hit enter. So now those are gone, you've moved them over. Because I'm trying to solve for y. Right, my goal is to get this y right here all by itself. So now I've got to get rid of these. So we're going to divide by the -2, divide by the 16, and divide by the 68.26, and hit enter again. Now to get your answer, you take the inverse cosine of that 0.8. So inverse cosine of your answer, and y is 35.44. If you got 34, 35, that's close. Okay? Now then, let's find the answer. Right? My bird was traveling at 90 and he went a little bit farther. So 90 plus your 35.35 gives you an answer of 125.44 degrees. That's his heading. And you're done.